Hi, I'm Nan Simonsen. I'm a nationally board certified health and wellness coach, and I have another inspiring subject. And the question, well, it wasn't posed as a question. The statement, the title statement for this video is the number one predictor of a good life. And I'm with my I call it background group, background singers. They're our PowerPoint group, and I posed that question, and it took three guesses to get it right. So I'm going to start by crediting whom I credited last week for last week's subject, and that is Mel Robbins. She is a YouTube inspiration who was an attorney, smart as a whip, and she puts her own challenges out there. And she asks when she interviews people really intelligent questions, questions that when you hear them, you're very grateful she asked, but some people probably wouldn't have thought of. And this interview was with a Dr. Waldinger. He is the author of this book, The Good Life, a New York Times bestseller that was published in 2023. And he is a MD, and he is the director of the Harvard Study of Adult Development and a Zen priest. So he's deep, philosophical, intelligent, well educated, and an administrator in that he took over the, should we call it management, of a study that was begun in 1938 with no intention for this kind of a long-term continuation. And yet, because they did that and they saw people, if it wasn't year after year, then it was decade after decade continuing to take down information and life, where they were in their life at the time and what they were doing health wise and what they were doing socially, etc., that they have one of the richest cohorts of people. I don't mean rich monetarily. Uh, they are rich in information with these people because they continued to stay in touch with many of them through their entire lives, beginning with schoolboys from rich families at Harvard and poor families at Harvard, even tracking them and then realizing the value of this study and keeping it going. So the study that tells us the answer to the question I asked is not only valid, but one of the longest studies in history, and it is the Harvard Study of Adult Development. And this was Mel Robbins interviewing the director of that study, Dr. Waldinger, Waldinger, Dr. Waldinger. So I'm going to start with a powerful question, and that is what will make you happy decades from now? What would make you happy decades from now? Think of that question, write it down, and see how you believe you would answer it after I finish. Just a brief, and this is not only brief, but informative overview of their conversation that will leave you wanting far, far more than I'm going to give you. And so I'm recommending right now that you hear what I have to say from my notes, but that you also watch their interview. It is masterful. And I've listened to it twice. I've gone back and taken notes, which is the way I do things. And I'll be giving you the link for it. So again, what will make you happy decades from now? And I'll repeat the information I gave you. The Harvard Study of Adult Development has been tracking lives across the last 90 years. It revealed one clear truth, that relationships matter more than anything else. From the or from their conversation, I'm going to share with you practical steps to build happier, longer, and more meaningful, um, uh, a happier, longer, and more meaningful life by investing in connection. Um, and again, you're going to get the link in the description. So, in the study, at age 50, healthier, happier individuals were not distinguished by their cholesterol, but by the strength of their relationships. Some people would guess, well, of course, it's going to be physical. That would make the difference. Some people would guess it's going to be what you eat and how you live your lifestyle. Well, part of a recommended lifestyle pillar is connectedness, but who would guess that that could be the number one telling factor of a long and happy life? Strong social bonds predict longevity and resilience. Poor connections can compound stress, while good ones help you regulate it. Emotional warmth, not wealth or status, is the superpower that shapes well being. So let's focus on 6 actionable steps to cultivate connectedness. Number one, and I asked the group in the background to, as they're listening, to jot down notes and to consider what we're going to talk about when we come back, the things that inspire you, that you hear, the things you already do, the things that you will be adding to your life, and how it makes you feel if you realize that some of these things could be added to your life so simply, actually for free, and change your life here and now. So, number one, nurture existing relationships. Be intentional. Stay in touch with calls, texts, or visits. Even small gestures signal I care. Give that person the feeling of being included and appreciated and seen, and give the provider of those actions a feeling that they had in that day maybe improved or enhanced a life. Quality matters. Prioritize emotional depth over surface level interactions. Listen, share, and emphasize. Acknowledge and appreciate. Acknowledge and appreciate changes in ourselves and others through the years to show that you've actually seen them. Now, this was something that came up later in their conversation as they were winding down. Prioritize emotional depth over surface level interactions. Listen, share, and emphasize. And as an example of that, they talked about acknowledging and even maybe discussing or opening up the conversation about how we or they have changed and how that's affected their life, as an additional way of, again, really looking at and understanding the people in our lives, because they're not static and neither are we. Number two, embrace micro moments of connection. Eye contact, small acknowledgments like smiling at a barista offers an immediate boost of well-being. I talk a lot about this book, Love 2.0 by Dr. Barbara Fredrickson, and she wrote this to remind us of exactly what I'm talking about now, and that is the value of micro moments of connection that actually accumulate in our psyche and can elevate us, but also make a big difference to the people that we connect with. Conversations, well, similar to what happened with me at Trader Joe's, was it yesterday? I went in, I had a list of things to do. I was in the middle of a recipe. I was in a hurry and I wasn't really talkative. But the fellow asked me, because of what was in my shopping cart, are you a vegetarian or a vegan? And I'm there all the time, and nobody has asked me that. And I said, yes, as a matter of fact, I've been whole food plant-based. I always use that as just a specific, because it's much more specific than just no meat, i.e., no, as a vegan. And he said, well, I used to work at, and then he told me of two vegan vegetarian restaurants, but half an hour away from me, and we don't travel that much to hit all those restaurants. We pretty well stay nearby, and actually we eat at home most of the time. And he told me how he worked there, how one place he was there for 3 years. I mean, he went on, and I was enjoying every bit of the conversation. And we were talking about health and wellness, and I had only brought in 2 bags, and they got really, really heavy because I added extra things beyond what I thought I was going to get. And he said, well, I'm going to give you a third bag. These are too heavy. And I said, oh no, I want them heavy. It's good for my arms to carry heavy things. And he loved that as well. So we were, anyway, this tiny little interaction became something that meant something to him as well as me. We enjoyed our company. Um, so embrace the micro moments. Um, they do accumulate and they create a more connected and feeling of being grounded uh, as a social interaction. And then 3, model connection with kids and family. Use family dinners to practice mutual listening and emotional care. These meal times are powerful training grounds for relational skills. Support your children's emotional development. And this could be grandkids. This could be, well, let me finish this sentence. And it can be actually in our ongoing adult relationship. Support your children's emotional development by being present, curious, and genuinely interested in who they are becoming, or if it is relating to adults and friends, who they are. Um, Learn to drop into the present. Dr. Waldinger used this term, drop into the present, to quiet the mind from going into the past, into the future, but really being where we are at the time. And Mel Robbins said, can you tell me what that would look like? And I'm going to leave that for you to hear as an exchange between the two of them, because it was a really good, very quick action that we can take to ensure that when we're connecting with somebody, we're doing it in the present. We're doing that person to person without allowing a lot of other stuff to cloud um, the interaction and the relationship. Number 4, foster kindness as your default. When in doubt, choose the kindest action. Even small gestures of warmth build trust and closeness. Kindness is a low effort, high return habit that strengthens bonds across contexts, from colleagues to strangers. Um, and, oh, ask yourself in a conversation with a friend, for example, I'm having a dinner party this weekend, a birthday party for one of my friends, and there'll be, I think, 10 people there. And one of the recommendations I'm going to put into practice, because I can't say that I've ever done this, and that is, ask yourself in a connection during a conversation, what have I never noticed before about this person? In other words, bring in curiosity into our relationships with people that we know slightly, know very well, maybe even live with. What have I never noticed before? That's so smart. And I'm looking forward to seeing what that brings up this weekend. Number 5, treasure and maintain friendships. Dr. Waldinger puts it, make friends, keep friends, treasure friends. Make friends, keep friends, treasure friends. Friendships need regular attention. Don't let them lapse due to busyness or assumptions. Busyness on our part or assumptions of their lack of interest. Um, and then finally, as in terms of actionable steps, redefine success. Money, followers, or external validation often distract us. Lasting well-being springs from warm, supportive human relationships. It is so easy, and I don't mind admitting that I've fallen into that a bit. It is so easy to get caught up in the obligations that we believe are necessary for our well-being or happiness. I have shared before that I work with a Blue Zones Health uh, clinic as a health and wellness coach, and I am doing a number of events with them or for them at expos, promoting the Blue Zones Wellness Power 9 and our Blue Zone clinic because the doctors in this medical group, Independent Physicians Association medical group, are plant-based or lifestyle as medicine doctors, and I'm representing them in that way. And the possibilities of aging with power at 75 and being whole food plant-based nearly 7 years. I can speak to what we promote because I've lived it and I've lived it with this organization, even though the organization has taken on a new face and a new name. It's Lifestyle Medical that I represent. Um, and it's interfered the things that I'm continuing to take on. Our city is now becoming a Blue Zone project. It's an interesting uh, um, kind of a coincidence that our city is independent of that Blue Zones Health group, uh, working toward being certified at the end of a 5-year period as one of the healthiest cities in the nation as compared to where we were when we began, and we just began this last spring. In any case, I have found that that drive to make all of that work, to work in those organizations in a valuable role, has usurped my taking the time and putting in the energy to continue to be close to those that matter to me. Uh, because I'm busy. I'm busy. I can't do that. I read this, heard it, read it, wrote it down, and thought to myself, that's going to end here and now. I will make time because nobody really cares what I'm doing off to the side. They care what we have between them, and I care what I have with them as well. So that's just a determination spoken out loud on my part. Um, and then again, reframe goals. Aim for connection, not just achievement. If I had a bell, I'd ring the bell. Okay, so if we put this into action, I would say, why not? Put it to myself, put it to you. Why not choose one small act today? Send a text, make eye contact, call somebody, connect with somebody today that you feel you had we'll call it a micro moment of connectivity that matters. This week, reconnect with an old friend or deepen a relationship that matters. And then finally, if you look back someday, what will matter most is knowing you are connected, cared, and were caring. So much more. And the specifics about this, you can watch on this 1 hour and 38-minute podcast. Uh, if you say, I don't have the time, you can make it go a little faster by simply setting the speed. I do that sometimes to 1.25. It's not so fast that you can't hear details, but not so. But I think it saves about 25% of time if you are worried about that. And so the key takeaways from this were relationships are foundational, not optional. Connection is a practice, not a consequence. And kindness, intention, and presence are the tools to build a life that's truly good. So the title of today was what makes, or the title question of my talk before I actually wrote it down was what makes a good life. And the answer is nurturing connection for true happiness. And I'll recommend his book. It's marvelous. I just got it and I'm going through it and it's marvelous. Okay, so that's it. I hope you got something out of this. Uh, Watch the video and then share it. I shared it on my channel, my couple of channels, because, well, 1.1 million people who have viewed it were attracted to it enough to want to. And I believe that at our point in time, everybody is in a position where we're feeling somewhat isolated, somewhat uncertain, and somewhat insecure. And I think the more of us that understand that kindness, connection, people matter in our lives and we in theirs, the better our world will be. That's all. I'll remind you that I am an author of Aging Powerfully. This was my celebration to myself. I wrote it the 6 months prior to turning 70. That was nearly 5 years ago. And Aging Powerfully is partially memoir, first few pages memoir, and the rest actionable steps to aging with power with lifestyle as medicine. Okay, thank you for your time. I love you. I appreciate your being here. Please share, please subscribe, and have a great day because I know I'm going to. Thank you. Bye bye.